this is not going to be a one-off, that Bellator is going to go back to pay-per-view. I guess, I'm sure some of this is still tentative as we hear Wanderlei's nostrils. What is the plan for pay-per-view right now? What can you tell the media and the fans at this point about your plans going forward?
Well, this is a new line of business for us. We're going to be, this is the first of many that we're going to be doing. Scott did not put together a single card and hope that it works or see if it works. This is a new revenue stream for us, and it will allow us in time to continue to build up Bellator and put on these amazing fights. So, I don't know if we're talking about the schedule yet, but there will be consistent and regular pay-per-views moving forward as we enter this new line of business with all of our partners who are very enthusiastic to help.
Yeah, look, I mean, the answer to that question is we're not going to do monthly pay-per-views just to do pay-per-views. We're going to build up fights more like the boxing model, and when the time is right, we'll do the big fight. So when we can put a big event together, like the one we have on June 24th, then we'll do it as a pay-per-view event.
I'm also wondering, there are 4 fights right now currently announced for the card. Just to confirm, the pay-per-view, there will be 5 fights total, right?
That is correct.
Do you have any idea when you might announce that 5th and final fight?
Hopefully this coming week. Yes.
Thank you. I have a question for Wanderlei. Can you hear us, Wanderlei?
Yeah.
Hey, Wanderlei, can you explain why you're not at the press conference?
Because I'm trying to beat somebody on 24 June.
And so you asked Bellator if you can miss it, and they said yes.
Yes. I'm focused to training to back to 100%.
And for Chael, yesterday we talked about this, and you said you didn't mind all that much. But now that you see everyone's, opponent here, and it's a press conference at MSG, is it a bit of a bummer not to be next to Wanderlei?
It annoys me because I feel like Wanderlei got his way. I mean, do you understand, Errol? You and everybody else waited in the weather. You came to the press conference. Wanderlei, it looks like he found a bathroom as a backdrop in the men's shelter he's living at in Rio and got somebody to point a cell phone at his face. I find it a little bit weird. You act like you just asked him a question. You just talked to plexiglass with a little bit of technology in it, and then he gave you an answer. You understand we're beaming him in via satellite, Ariel. We could have used that satellite technology to point it somewhere in the world, depict and predict weather patterns, and protect people's lives. Instead, we've got Wanderlei Silva coming to us from a men's shelter bathroom in Brazil. Yeah, man, I find it a little bit weird.
I think he's getting it translated. Yeah. Is there anything you want to say in response to that, Wanderlei?
Man, just talk all the time, just talking. In the fight, I hope you're training more than you talking because you be like you be in the last fight. Man, I'm gonna beat you so fast.
All right, well, let's just talk about that. Who killed my mic? Let's just talk about that for the second. First off, I made Tito Ortiz scream tap in less than 60 seconds. And while I suspect that you're going to be tougher than him, I still get you out of there inside of the first round. And before I get accused of hogging the mic, Wanderlei, every time you talk, all I hear is garble, garble, garble. And I want to remind you, when you address me in public, you will do it proper. It's garble, 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 Mr. Sonnen. Thank you. Okay. It's respectful. Say it with me, Wanderlei. Mr. Sonnen. Please, respectfully, please. Try it one time. No.
Suck my balls.
No. That is not what I said. Try it again. Mr. Sonnen.
I'll ask Lorenz a question as well. Lorenz, when you signed with Bellator, did you know that this was on the table, or did they approach you with this opportunity after you signed?
No, no fights was in the works. I guess we were just focused on, getting the deal done. And then not too long ago, I got the call, and they asked me if I was interested, and I just said it's a no-brainer. I've been wanting to fight. It's been a while since I fought, and now I'm here. Who would say no to Madison Square Garden?
Were you surprised, though, that this was the first fight?
Oh, yeah. I was pumped, but, I was surprised that I wasn't thinking about that in the slightest bit. So, once when it was offered to me, I was ecstatic. I was pumped, and I'm gonna be ready. You know, June 24th.
Thank you.
So I'll say Mr. Sonnen.
Thank you.
You lost the January fight because you had about a 3-year break. Do you think Wanderlei will have the same, I guess, situation when he goes against you?
It was a problem for me. It was a problem for me. You know, they talk about ring rust. I didn't think it was a real thing. I could tell you, for me, it was a real thing. And I imagine that he will stumble a little bit. Yeah. I mean, if I was to give him some friendly advice, a lot of it's just the speed, like in sparring. It's just a little bit of a different speed. But I've been around Wanderlei. I did the Ultimate Fighter with Wanderlei. I watched him train hard every single day. So I can only speak for myself, but I can tell you, for me, it was real.
Can you understand me if I speak Portuguese? Or is there someone translating?
I believe you could, yeah, just speak right to him.
Eu queria saber que a última luta que você lutou, você já tá passando 3 anos, uma coisa assim. Até que você vai lutar agora. Você acha que você tá preparado para essa luta? Ou você tá nervoso que você vai entrar na luta contra a Sonnen?
No, this is going to be one of the biggest fights in the MMA history. These are the reasons I accepted to fight on that event, because we're going to be one of the biggest events in the whole history. This is going to be great, and I'm ready to make one of the best fights in my career.
I have just one more question for Mr. Sonnen. You are one of the biggest talkers out there. You get into people's minds, heads. Has it ever worked backwards in the sense all the talking actually made you feel some type of fear?
Yeah, it may be. I mean, I don't give a damn either way. It's an ass-whipping contest for 15 minutes of my life or until he gives up. So, yeah, I think there's some truth to that, but these are press conferences. You got to bring some attention. Listen, I told the press 3 weeks ago, the next time I see Wanderlei Silva, I'm going to be fighting Wanderlei Silva, and he stayed home in Brazil, and that's just the reality. And the last time I saw Wanderlei Silva, I fought Wanderlei Silva on the streets of Brazil. So yes, my words matter, my words care. We are back on pay-per-view, and Daddy is the king of pay-per-view. I'm not coming into the men's bathroom at the homeless shelter, Wanderlei. You can call me out all you want. I told you I'd be in New York, and I will be in New York on June 24th, one place you are not. Mr. Sonnen.
Last question is for Fedor. How do you feel representing your country? Because there's a lot of people that I know that are rooting for you. Are you nervous about this event? And is being in Madison Square Garden, what does it feel for you, and what do you have to say to the people that you represent?
Федор, как вы себя чувствуете? Через что вы сейчас проходите? Как ваша подготовка?
Спасибо, чувствую себя хорошо. Скажем так, после несостоявшегося нашего боя я поддерживал немножко форму, но в большей степени дал возможность отдохнуть своему организму.
I feel very good. After the canceled fight, I've been keeping up the form and staying in top shape for this fight.
По возвращении домой я приступлю к усиленным тренировкам.
Upon the return home, I started training harder.
Question from Matt Mitrione. Matt, this is sort of your rebound opportunity after that canceled fight referenced. Just for my own edification's sake, how are you feeling today? And was there any sort of identified, I mean, I know what the medical cause was at the time that scuttled the fight, but was there anything underlying that created it, some sort of larger issue to address?
First of all, I feel fantastic. Fedor, thank you very much for accepting the fight again. I really appreciate it. It's a massive opportunity, so I'm really thankful for that. That was first. Second, yeah, kidney stones, man. It just happened. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it did. I passed a couple of them a few times before, and this one, when they finally called the fight, they said, okay, we have to get a CAT scan to kind of see what's really going on here. The stone had still not passed. It was still in my tract somewhere. And they said, okay, so we finally got that one to pass. In the CAT scan, they thought they found 6 or 7 stones in my right kidney, none in my left. When I got home on Friday, I'm sorry, when I got home on Sunday, on Wednesday, I was at a doctor's office. Dr. Amy Krambeck, who's one of the best kidney stone doctors on the planet, and she's out of Indianapolis, where I live. She went in, went into my body through my pee hole and found 24 kidney stones. And they removed them all. It was a miserable experience, and as a memorable thing for me, she left a 26 centimeter stent that I got to pull out 4 days later. Miserable experience. We don't know what caused them. She said initially it seemed like it was serial dehydration, but I don't cut weight, so I don't know what that would have been. Probably from my years when I was younger, like hanging out, partying, drinking a whole lot, going to practice still drunk or hungover, and then drinking again when I was way too young, kind of a thing. Probably just being irresponsible and not having the cleanest diet. But obviously having 24 stones, they've been there for a long time. I was just lucky enough not to pass them at the worst time ever in the history of ever, which this one did, and that's what happened. But I feel great, man, other than that.
Fair enough. Scott, speaking of that event, there was the San Jose market, which you're pretty loyal to for all these many years. I'm less concerned about you giving them something again. I'm sure you will one way or the other. I'm actually more curious about your East Coast development plans. Right here you are doing a pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden. I don't expect all your pay-per-views to be here, but I am wondering, with this market opening up, what are Bellator's plans to come to this sort of New York area for 2017, 2018?
Yeah, in 2017 we have a schedule where we're going to be doing some fights in the New York area, in the upstate New York. But this is the beginning of it all. So on June 24th we'll be here at the Garden, and then we'll expand from there. But there's nothing that's off the table. We've been signing a lot more fighters from Henzo's gym and different gyms, as you guys know, the fighters that live in the New York area, and we're definitely going to be coming here quite often.
Question for Michael Chandler, Snapchatting over there. What up? Michael, you have talked a lot about. Yes, of course, you have a title defense in front of you. It's the most important thing. We know the drill, but I'm still wondering if you're still eyeing some fights outside of your weight class for 2017.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm in this sport to get the biggest fights I possibly can. Case in point, we're here at Madison Square Garden. This is an amazing opportunity against an amazing opponent, a guy who's young, who's hungry, a guy who is just 5 years ago, I was in his exact same position. You're young, you're hungry, you're undefeated. You get the opportunity to fight the world champion, a guy, and stamp your name in the ranks in the world. So I know I have a tough test ahead of me. I know I have a tough opponent in front of me and on a very big stage. But I'm large enough to fight up there at welterweight or other guys. I know I talk to Scott all the time. He's assuring me that he's continuing to go after guys, and I have a lot of guys on my radar that I would love to fight. And you're just going to keep seeing more and more guys coming over. Lorenz up here. I mean, you're seeing guys come over, so it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be in my position. It's an exciting time to be fighting for Bellator. And June 24th is going to be another night for me to stamp my name on the lightweight division, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I definitely have aspirations of possibly going up or calling out other guys in lighter weight classes. I know Patricio Pitbull hates me with a passion, so that's a good fight possibly. So we'll see. Either way, I'm excited.
Question for Fedor. So you're obviously at the far end of your career. You've got how many fights left, do you think? 3, 5, 10, 2?
И кем вы что? Пока я себя чувствую хорошо. У нас есть понимание со Скоттом. Контракт заключен на 2 года, на 2 боя с перспективой 3-го. Дальше будет видно. Это years, 2 боя. С перспективой на 3-й, да. Если все пройдет благополучно, мы продолжим наше сотрудничество.
Is that it? Great. If there's any questions, please come forward at this time because.
Next
Okay.
question in just a moment. We'd ask the members of the media if you could please stand when you ask your question. That way the fighter can locate you, and our audio guy can also locate you with the microphone. So again, when the next questions are asked, if we could please ask you to stand. Thank you.
We're gonna do pictures with the face-off. Is that
Yes, after the press conference is finished.
so? Sonnen, how do you feel doing that with the screen? You're gonna.
So here's what's going down, guys. Okay, I'm not sure this is completely on everybody's radar. First off, the biggest star in the history of the business is coming to New York, and why this is a big deal when you got a city decorated with concrete is beyond me. I don't come to buildings this old in Westland. You got a building as old as MSG in my hometown, we'll tear it down. But this is a big deal for you guys, and while everybody else is happy to New York is happy to have me. And let me tell you what's going on this stage. First off, we don't do co-promotes in this business, which is a problem with mixed martial arts. But amongst the boys, we all know who the best is, and we all will tell you Michael Chandler is the baddest lightweight out there. However, the right man for the job has been called. I can tell you Brett Primus is ready to go. Meanwhile, we got title fights with Larkin. We got Lamas on the card, and Fedor Emelianenko in his crowning moment is going to jerk the curtain before the bad guy himself walks. Could you imagine being Fedor Emelianenko, getting that call and told you're coming to MSG? You're going to pull the curtain back for Chael Sonnen to make the walk. And while Wanderlei hides out in the bathroom in Rio, when all is said and done, I will promise you this, it's going to be one more in the win column, one more for the highlight reel, and one more for the bad guy.
Wanderlei, for your training, everything that you're doing.
Could you, young lady, excuse me, Mr. Son, excuse me, could you imagine the excitement that Fedor must have right now? Could you imagine how bad he wants to reach out and touch the largest arm in Westland, Oregon that is sitting right next to him? Instead, people keep going to Wanderlei Silva. You want to hear Wanderlei Silva? You want to know how you could get as much tantalizing conversation from something as Wanderlei Silva? Just talk to my shoe. Just ask the shoe. What's it going to be like, shoe? What's it going to be like to walk into Madison Square Garden in front of a sold-out arena with the biggest box office in history because Bellator called the king? And you know what Wanderlei's going to say? Oh, garble, garble, garble. It's garble, 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 Mr. Sonnen! Do you see the genius at work? Do you see how I did that? Do you see what see, that's not really Wanderlei. That's my boot, young lady. Do you see why I'm a genius? And meanwhile, Fedor's up here going, oh my God, he's here. That's the guy I read about. That's Chael Sonnen. Do you imagine? He's feeling the same thing you're feeling. Chills going up and down your spine, face to face with greatness at this old building decorated with concrete known as MSG. This is where you talk.
I was waiting for him to respond to the question, but I think you forgot it after the boot. So, Mr. Wanderlei, the question is, you're so far away, you're not training in the U.S., the hours are different, the time is different, the jet lag is a whole other level. Why would you prepare in a different country when your fight is in New York City?
No, here I have a lot of good material, warm materials, and I feel great, and I think I'm going to be on my best time.
Question for Fedor. How are you? I'm compelled to ask what you think of what Chael said. Are you impressed by his words? And did you ever consider fighting him in February? He said that he wanted to fight you, and he spoke to Bellator, but Bellator didn't really seriously consider it. Did you ever consider it when Matt was unable to fight?
Я думаю, что он много говорит.
You know, just to give you a thought on that, just to let you know, the reason why I feel that Fedor didn't want to fight anybody else because I'm the sexiest fight there is in Bellator heavyweights. That's what it is. I've said that in a couple interviews already. Like, there's no other fight for heavyweights that Fedor would want to have. I'm the one he wants to test himself against. I'm the one that's going to give him the best challenge. And after his last fight, it wasn't the best one he's ever had. So I'm the fight that he wants now to prove that he's the Fedor that he's always been. And that's the reason why. I think Fedor knows it, and I think we all know it.
back to Fedor. Did you?
Впереди меня? Понятно. Ну да, не согласился ни с кем драться, потому что мэтч на сегодняшний день очень интересен. И с того дивизиона, который я видел, мне кажется, он один из лучших претендентов. Вот. Ну и было бы, наверное, неправильно в последний момент за несколько часов менять своего оппонента. К тому же то, что случилось с Мэттом, в принципе, может случиться с любым человеком. Поэтому, конечно, нужно было подождать и дать еще один шанс. Я буду очень рад, что наш бой все-таки состоится.
Yes, that is correct. This fight, this opportunity was definitely an appealing one to me. Was definitely looking forward to it. It just happened so that Matt got hospitalized. It happens to everyone. It can happen anytime, and it was worth waiting for this opportunity to happen.
Did you consider Fedor? Did you consider fighting anyone else that night, or no? Did you want to wait for Matt?
Yeah, Ariel, I think that if you want to have the one-on-one with Fedor, then
Okay.
we can do it after
All
the
right.
thing because that was months ago.
Okay.
And to me, I'd like to just move forward. That was a tough night for all, but even though for instance, Chael was talking to me, but we didn't offer him to Fedor.
Okay.
Because we had other plans. We knew that this fight was going to happen down the road, as we talked about yesterday. So not everything was communicated to Fedor, but we're more than happy to have you guys huddle up.
Okay, fair enough. I just have one more for Wanderlei, if I can.
Sure.
For Wanderlei, I know this is, I think, off the top of my head, your 50th professional fight, at least that we know of. Have you ever felt this way about an opponent? Have you ever felt this kind of animosity towards someone that you were about to fight?
No, anytime somebody asks me to fight, I'm fighting. For me, no matter against who. But when we fight against somebody like my next opponent, it's better because, man, I'm gonna be so happy after I beat him.
Hello, everybody. New York. George Willis, New York Post. Just wanted to ask a question of Brent, since we haven't heard from you. Just what you think this stage can do for you and your career.
I think you can do everything. This is the biggest opportunity in my life. I feel. I want to thank Scott Coker and Bellator. I'm fighting in Madison Square Garden in New York City with some of the greatest legends in the sport, and it's a big time for me, and I can't wait to go out there and show the world, why I'm here.
What do you feel like you bring to the sport in terms of not only your talent, but your personality?
Yeah, I know I'm kind of new. Not a lot of people don't really know me. I think I came from a troubled past a little bit, and I think that drives me and brought me to where I am. And I just can't wait to go out there and show everybody why I'm here, and go win that belt on the 24th.
And Mr. Lima, I'd ask you the same thing. What do you think this stage fighting in Madison Square Garden can do for you?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for sure. I'm very happy, to fight such a tough guy like Larkin. I think this is gonna be the best fight of the card, the most exciting one. Even though we're fighting around, guys like, them, legends. And man, just really looking forward to it. I'm gonna make the most of it.
And what do you feel Bellator brings to the table compared to some other promotional companies?
Bellator just treat people right. I've been with them for about 8 years, almost 10. I've been treated very good, and I just loved it. I never thought about fighting anywhere else. Just thankful for them.
This question is for Scott. The last time Wanderlei and Sonnen were scheduled to fight, Wanderlei denied the drug test, and Sonnen failed the drug test. Are you guys gonna do something special about or something about this issue?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at our policy is to work with the athletic commission and to abide by their testing. I mean, Chael, during his last fight, was tested. How many times were you tested, Chael? I mean, it's 5 times he was tested by the state athletic commission. And when we, huddle up with the New York State Athletic Commission, we'll find out what they want to do, and we'll make it happen.
Mr. Sonnen, how does it feel that you, even if you passed or not the drug test, you actually took it and your opponent didn't? What does that say to you for your opponent?
Sounds like an advantage for old Chael P. One more for the bad guy, and I did take it. And you're not really telling the whole story. Everybody wants to talk about the things that they found in my system, but nobody gives any credence to all of the things that they missed. So I kind of feel like that's a pessimistic approach. Kim Stumbler will do her job, and when she calls me, I will have 24 hours to report. I will report every time. Those are the rules.
Hey, just to let you guys know this also, I got drop tested when I was in Houston. I was doing some promo stuff for the fight Fedor and I were supposed to have in February. And the California State Athletic Commission called me up, surprise drop tested me when I was in Houston at the Super Bowl. So just letting you know, everybody's doing their jobs. Everybody's getting drop tested on surprise tests where they have no idea, they can't run, they can't do anything about it. So good for them. I was really happy that I got tested. Actually, I thought it was great because after I win, I look forward to being like, hey, look, everything was clean, everything was good. So I think it's a really good thing. Good job on the Athletic Commission's part.
Matt, they say that one of the dangerous men are the ones that are most quiet. What do you think about that?
I think Fedor's a badass. That's what I think. That's awesome.
Question for Mr. Coker.
Mm-hmm.
You said another fight's going to be added to the main card, and your 2 women's divisions are really have grown in popularity in the past few months. Just wondering if there's any plans to add women's 125 or 145 pound fight to the main card or this card at all?
Yes, we will be adding 1 female fight to the Bellator 180 card. That's on Spike TV between 8 and 10 Eastern. But the rest of the fight card has not been put together yet. We're going to huddle up with my guys this week, and we're going to figure the rest of the card out. But that's something we should have by the end of the week or beginning of next week for you.
All right, thank you.